the time and energy to acknowledge those, to give acknowledgement to the land that we stand on. All right, so I do want to let anyone, I do see some new faces in here, and hello to YouTube because we just joined you. Welcome to Open Mic Monday. We are joined by myself, I'm pretty dope, and my team, the R.I.S.E team. I just want to shout y'all out. Can't do this without you. You know who you are. They're in the background, so shout them out if you see them. All right, so I just want to tell you a little bit about the organization. R.I.S.E is a space where we create safe and inclusive spaces for youth and emerging artists to express themselves in a positive way. We do this through our edutainment methodology, and we empower performance artists to create meaningful art that's rooted in self-knowledge and self-expression. And we believe that art has the power to transform the life of many youth and individuals that we see lost to the street and its system. So that's why we do this. That's why we've been doing this for the last 10 years. And that's why we're here today. So we continue virtually, and really glad that all of you could join us. We were just briefly postponed while we celebrated our 10-year anniversary. So I hope that all of you had the chance to check out our website and our Instagram to see what you might have missed if you were not able to join us in person. And please be sure to keep up with us by joining our newsletter and things like that by going to our website, www.risedutainment.com. And on the website, you'll be able to stay up to date with everything that we got going on. We have many opportunities for artists, but also opportunities for people who love art to enjoy art. So check it out. And just letting you know that we run our show from March to December, and we run it on Zoom and YouTube. And because you already know that we are back outside in most places in the world, and where we are right now, Ontario, Toronto, we are back outside. So we are allowed to gather in person, and we will be doing more in-person events, and specifically more in-person open mics. So please look out for that. That should be coming up in the next month or so. All right. And just letting everyone know that we also have a couple of other shows coming up, particularly this Friday, Frequency Friday. We have Flower Power. We're back live in person. And this show is going to be at 918 Bathurst in Toronto. And this month's theme is Flower Power. So we're honoring all the feminine and feminine energies in the month of May. And every Friday, or every last Friday of the month, we showcase or promote a new theme in our Frequency Friday showcase. And as I just said, this May is Flower Power. And if you missed it, you can still check out our YouTube, because we just dropped one last Friday. And that one was Cypher City, featuring 11, Ida Sophia, Kelson Fredericks, and Ex Miranda. And yeah, so you can go on our YouTube channel to check that out. But if you want to check out Flower Power Frequency Friday, you've got to come live in person. Tickets are on sale now on our website, in our link tree, and just about everywhere that R.I.S.E is. And if you didn't know, I just want to let y'all know R.I.S.E stands for Reaching Intelligent Souls Everywhere. And that's what we continue to do. So if you are interested in being a part of our live audience or a performer that you might see tonight, all you have to do is also head to our website. Everything is on our website or our link tree. If you're an IG person, you can check that out there. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat on YouTube and Zoom, and my lovely team members will definitely help you out. You can also DM us anytime if you ever have any questions. Stay connected, tap in, and yeah, meet some pretty dope artists. All right, so that is what we're about to do right now. Thank you, Team Marissa, for dropping those links to everybody. And hi, everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I think we're going to get right into some performances. So first up, we are going to have Faye, and then next we will have Addie, and we will close out with Lazuli. And just letting y'all know that if you are interested in joining our open mic, we still have a few spaces open. And otherwise, we'll go to the end of like whatever performers we do have. We do have one more question that we want to ask you before the end of our show tonight as well. And then we'll do a little wrap up as we normally do. So that is our show tonight. Just want to keep you informed and set your expectations. And the next performer who's coming up is an artist that we've had the pleasure of being able to feature. She has come through and she has absolutely wowed us with her spoken word each and every time. I don't remember ever being disappointed. And that's no pressure to say you are amazing. I'm very much looking forward to hearing your poetry tonight or your spoken word piece. With no further ado, I'd like to welcome Faye to the screen. Okay, no worries about that. We are going to keep it moving. Faye, we can get you up next when you do return. And if we can perhaps then get Addie and then Lazuli, and then we'll have Faye to close out. And anyone else, if they do want to jump on the mic, you may go after. Awesome. Let's go, Addie. Let us know what you're going to do tonight, and maybe let us know where you're from as well, and what you think about growing pains.
Appreciate it. First and foremost, thank you, R.I.S.E. Thank you, Pretty Dope, for holding space here and offering this opportunity. I'm really happy to be here. My name's Addie. I'm here to perform some poetry from a book I've written in collaboration with 2 other writers. It's called Chasing Shadows. It's a collection of free verse and some contemporary poetry about just living on the fringes and finding some rhythm in the chaos. I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. And I incidentally have a section in here called Growing Pains. So I thought I'd select 2 poems to work with it. And I think that in the age of comparative thinking that we're all in, I think we're all experiencing growing pains no matter how old we are. And I published it under a group called Vibe Creative Labs. And we work with artists in Toronto and schools in Toronto to provide community-based programming. So the first poem I have for you guys, it's called The Law of Frustration. And it's just looking at the little chip on our shoulders that we all sometimes have as we grow older. The Law of Frustration. Cracks in the foundation. I was patient. We were patient. The whole city sleeps on the belief that this life was amazing. Underneath the belly of the feast is the beast you thought we brought here. Out of fear and sheer ignorance, you turn a blind eye to deafening cries of children born unfairly. Soft pokes in my arm take me away to mirages otherwise lost in childhood dreams. Street corner strollers leak innocence and joy. Boys will be boys so long as the men grow up to bow down to another master. Faster and faster, individuality and pride quickly fading away. Dastardly deeds to the people with the seats at the tables that do more than host cards. Fly suits talking suits on flights about dirty water and liquidating liability. Literally murder. So how much further should we go? Rinse and repeat, trying in vain to stay clean in a world of deceit. The daily reminder that this isn't my home, that this isn't my door, that this isn't my phone. Makes me lose pride in things borrowed. After all, my culture was taken, and without payment, it was altered. Thoughts and squalor run deep with dirt, yet like oil in the rain, the colors of pain carry the diverse array of issues and complaints we all don't have the time to indulge in. Sometimes just to get through the day, a meaningless, pointless, directionless rant might help me see how resilience is earned through poverty. So I just have one more, if I'm still good with the time. The second poem I have is just called the Gospel of Good, and I kind of wrote it at a time where I was kind of going through one of those existential crises where you're really considering everything that's right and wrong. The gospel of good. Genesis witnessed in the trap house of the heavens, the reverend sweating Pyrex pensions, retirement savings cooking before 5 and after 7, no sign of ethics and rules worth blessing. When a definition of goodness relies more on selling, making a profit that even the prophets may think twice about investing, mounting debt for the mice of men, out here good people win, but the bigger problems never end. Well, God left the crib short 1-0, zipped and double bagged, divine intervention on his lap, consequences meshing with one another, a mother's love above all else, washed in naive ignorance that her baby was no longer a baby, and God couldn't help but be good. The blessed sacrament of crumpled up bills for half-empty pills to the optimistic addict, christened by the glass pipe and metal spoon. Too soon did God recognize that free base wasn't free and that his creation were creating something scary. Craving the crazy that simple care and compassion do little to satisfy. And I, said God, can't help but admit that as I created goodness, evil is what you uplift. For in your image of morale, right and just, you self-combust in a flame burning strong by the gift of temptation. It seems, God thought, discipline was waiting. And so goodness was surely never seen again. As the sermon ends, as the service ends, as they massage their own flaws with outdated doctrine lacking cause, and in effect, what's right and wrong are not legitimate, simply when written, because God defined good, and we all simply didn't. Thanks a lot, folks. Really appreciate it.
Yes. Amazing, amazing. You can see in the chat that folks are really feeling that poetry that you just slammed down on us. I really enjoyed that, Addie. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, honestly, a lot of truth in what you were saying, and I could definitely feel like the growing pains and the angst in the words. Would love to know like when you wrote that and kind of like your journey as a poet. We do have time, so I'm gonna take it. Get to know our folks a bit more.
Sure. So I grew up in Dorset Park, Scarborough, just at Kennedy and Lawrence, my whole life. And aside from my own lived experiences going through, I recently went through a battle with testicular cancer and lymph cancer between 2019 and 2020. Prior to that, I was helping a lot of young people, whether it was as a school teacher or as a youth worker in a number of educational initiatives across the community. So I've been able to kind of pick up game on a lot of the lived experiences that people endure when living in ghettoized communities, but I've also been able to kind of use art to get a little cathartic and therapeutic with the writing. And so it's been an experimental process, but I think we can all relate to how we use our gifts to kind of get through the pain, in this case, growing pains, you know? So thank you. I can only be able to perform comfortably given the space that you guys support and sustain out here.
High appreciation. Really, really love that. Shout out to Scarborough, Dorset Park. And yeah, just like shout out to Expression and Safe Spaces to do stuff like that. So shout out to R.I.S.E. And also wanted to let y'all know, so definitely check out Addie on Instagram, as Lovey said in the chat over there. Please go check out these artists, follow each other and support each other. Of course, that's what we do. Trying to be the plug, you know, for the community and keep everyone like energized. So thank you again for joining us, Addie, and please come back anytime. I do have another announcement before we bring on Mazuli, who is on deck. I wanted to let y'all know that if you are in Toronto or in the GTA, we recently just had our Arts in the Park auditions, and we're going to be doing a lot more outdoor activities, a lot more outdoor performances. So Arts in the Park was one of them. I just want to shout out to the 100 plus artists that came through for auditioning for a spot to perform in outdoor parks and non-traditional spaces this summer with Toronto Parks Foundation. Thank you so much. Great opportunity that we have been given for the last 3 years. And now I would also love to let y'all know that we have another opportunity coming your way called Poetry in the Park, where we will be taking all of this great poetry, this spoken word, the very, foundation R.I.S.E is kind of built on, and we're going to take it outside. So as soon as the weather gets nice enough, hoping that's going to be June in Ontario. You just never know if today is any indication. So that being said, keep your head up, chin to the sky, keep looking for that sun. And when the sun does come out for a longer period of time, we will be outside. Go on our website to check out which locations we will be at. And there may be some opportunities for artists to get some moolah out of this as well. So please stay tuned for the opportunities. And I'm just going to ask if everyone can put themselves on mute while we're doing the show. And we're going to have our next artist up, Lazuli. I see she's already ready, looking beautiful.
Lazuli,
thank you. Yes, join me on the screen, and please let the folks know what you'll be doing tonight, maybe where you're from, what you think about Growing Pains.
All right. So tonight I'm going to be performing 3 very short pieces from my book. It's called Young, Wild, and Woman. And it's based on that. It's about being a woman and going through and growing through the pains of life. And so speaking poetry is very new to me, but writing is something I've done since I'm from Jamaica, so that was my escape at age 11, and it's something that I've been doing since. So speaking, again, is still very new to me, but it's been an incredible release. So thank you for having me, and for you and your team for creating this beautiful space and for allowing me to be here. Right. So let's get started. A little bit about me. I love the smell of rain, the ocean waves, sensual bliss, a warm kiss, tree hugging, land exploring, speaking my mind, a good spliff, red wine, discovering the raw, feminine, and divine, nakedness, nature, freedom, you. Right. Tonight's piece, the first one is called Just an Introduction. And just a heads up, my book is a mixture of poetry and storytelling, so it will feel more like a story. And they're based on characters called Child, Mother, Bruja, and B-Word. I will say it because family friendly. So allow your inner child to remain innocent and curious as you traverse these plains. Mother will nurture you along the way, but remember, her hands are firm and frugal. You are magical, little Bruja, but this path will not be easy. You will be mocked and you will be teased, and most importantly, it is not something you can escape. To be wild, one must take the streets without light. You must pave the ways for the one more frail and pray that something or someone will save their soul. We all started the same, but no 2 stories are alike. And despite the fact that I've never seen you on land, our souls intertwined when divine timing connected us. Rise and fall from dust to dust. This land will know your name. Yours truly. My next piece is called Karmic Mother. Karma is a bee, but mother's wrath is wild. As a child, she nurtured your wounds and healed your scars with laughter. You frolicked in the sun and as she purged your iniquities. You swam in the waters while looking at the sky, wondering why the grass was green and the sky was blue. You subdued your fears and made it clear that this land was made for you, by you, through you. And then she left you, or you left her. You grew old and she grew bold. Life hits you and you grow cold. Hurt people hurting people. You think it's karma, but truth is, mother never left you. In her image, you now carve your own sculptures and wheel your own thread. With her wrath, you now lash out at everything, commanding that they step in line. This land is mine. I am the burning bush that purges your iniquities. I am the water that you swim in. It's a shame that I even have to tell you this. What a twist when you found out that I am the very dirt on which you stand. This land is not yours. It's a shame that I even have to tell you this. What a twist when you found out that I am the dirt on which you stand. This land is not yours or mine. It is you and them. In the end, it is not karma that strikes. It is done by you, for you, through you. Yours truly. Thank you.
Love, love, love. Thank you so much. That was, those pieces are beautiful. I love the intro. I was just thinking like, wow, I would love to meet you on an elevator one day and you just like be like, hi, what's your name? And then you just go into that right.
I would be that guy.
I'm your best friend now. Everything
I
you
got
said
you.
about your perfect day, also me. Yes.
Thank
So
you.
really, really love that. Resonated highly. And I know you said that you don't really like speak out your words too often, but I think you do have that. You definitely have that poet voice, that cadence, yeah, and that tone. So keep going. Would love to have you come back and join us and share more with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you.
Most welcome. That was Lazuli, y'all. Right? The voice. I was just like, what? You need to always speak out your words. This is beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And thank you so much. Make sure that y'all follow those individuals. We just had Lazuli, and then before that, we had Addie, both speaking their minds and their hearts about what it means to, you know, like grow up, I guess, and kind of get through life, like the journey that life takes us on. Sometimes can be painful as we grow and as we grow, and you know, and as we show up as our most ideal selves or try to be. Sometimes that can be really hard. So yes, so the folks want to know, Lazuli, is your book available? Because that was some poetry from Lazuli's book.
Yes, it's on Amazon, and again, it's called Young, Wild, and Woman.
Young, Wild, and Woman. Yes, let's get that one up in the chat because I want to definitely check that book out. I love, you know, supporting local artists, but also just getting perspectives that are, you know, closely related to my own. So being the reflection of other people and myself, that's really pretty dope. So thank you so much again for sharing. And of course, I love even just exploring other perspectives. So something I heard about today or yesterday, and it relates to growing pains. So this is kind of my answer to that question of what do you think of when you hear growing pains? So that was our question today. Before we get to Faye, who is our next performer, I do want to just pose this question one more time. What do you think of when you think of growing pains? And if you have answered that question, don't worry, I have another one for you. I'd love to hear about a growing pain that you had to overcome to bloom into who you are today. So I'll say that one more time. Name a growing pain that you had to overcome to bloom into who you are today. All right, so you already know April showers bring May flowers, and we are on May 2nd. I want to shout out my dad. Today is his birthday, and he might be watching on YouTube right now. So hi, Dad. Thank you so much. He's definitely been a part of, I would say, growing pain. I'll start off before Faye comes on, and I'll let y'all think of your growing pain that you'd like to share. You can drop it in the chat, or you can come on audio after Faye goes. My growing pain that I had to overcome. So I'm named like, I'm the junior of my dad. And since today's his birthday, I'll talk about my dad. And, but I'm a girl, of course. So growing up, it just, yeah, was a thing that I kind of had to get over in my own mind. How am I the junior of my father, but I'm also this woman who's trying to grow in like to myself. And it was something that was very challenging for me, like being, you know, compared to my dad, and I looked just like him, like everybody said that, which was also weird for me because of how I identified at the time. So definitely identity and being comfortable in my own skin and being comfortable being a person who identifies as having like two spirits, you know, the feminine as well as like the masculine, and being able to marry those two. I would say that is something that I am, yeah, that was a growing pain, like overcoming this idea that I had to be one or the other. And now I feel very comfortable being both and being, yeah, in my skin and being my father's junior. I think it's actually pretty dope, to be honest, not just trying to quote my own name again there. But yes, if anyone else would love to come on and let us know about a growing pain, like specifically, you can be more vague than I was if you want to. But I do want to bring up our last performer tonight. That is to say, she has graced our screen many times, and I'm very, very excited to see what she has for us today. Without further ado, to say.
Hey y'all. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, now we can. Yes.
Yes. Perfect. Hello. I'm gonna turn on my video. Oh, that's a whole lot of me. Okay. Hi, Elle. But yes, so in the spirit of growing pains, and I'm sorry about before, I was in transit, but in the spirit of growing pains, I'm going to do a poem called Yesterday, trigger warning, absolutely everything. Yeah. My need for survival is not conditional. Pretty rhymes don't heal broken hearts. Pretty rhymes don't unrape women. Pretty rhymes don't untraumatize kids. Not every Black man caught up in the system is innocent. Black girls deserve innocence, deserve protection. The brown on my skin is not bulletproof or trauma resistant. The brown on my skin feels pain, and my mind replays bad day over and over and over and over and over again. See, yesterday, I was 13 years old, in bed with a boy I loved. He gave me a teddy bear for my birthday, held me while I slept. I kept my hands under his Sunrise Middle School t-shirt to feel the warmth of his body, and he fights the urge to kiss me because his brown skin wouldn't let him. It wouldn't let him forget that his mother is a drug addict who kissed men for cocaine, or that his father is a murderer, a secret he holds between his teeth to whiten it with straight A's and a perfect record so great that no one ever looks into him. He laid with his hands under my shirt to feel my skin as we soaked in each other's innocence. Yesterday, I was 8 years old. In Palmetto Point, Bahamas, before the silence, before the lion ripped out my tongue and stuck his own down my throat, I burnt my orange pants and the matching shirt that he left his demons, semen, enough bad moment on to sniff his way back to me. I started wetting the bed again, touching myself to create sensations, to prove to myself that this, whatever its name is, that it happened, because my brown skin was too young to articulate or find the words to describe that day. See, yesterday, I was 11 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Broward County, 5th Avenue behind Heathside Park, 10 minutes away from where Cedric was killed, 5 minutes away from where David chose to hide while they looked for him in the dead of the night for sleeping with an underage girl, across from the street from where his baby mama beat up Shedleen, not keeping in mind that her man was 30 and she was 13, 5 years older than her eldest child, 1 room away from where Dominique committed suicide, where Black boys weren't allowed to cry, where new stains hid the street before the blood from the last shooting dried. Yesterday, I was being called baby girl, Lil Mama, hope of a whole neighborhood, who placed their dreams in the broken glasses of a quiet little girl who played violin and wrote stories. They were my first audience, read every broken English word like they made sense, and told me to keep going, keep writing. Yesterday, I placed flowers on poems for each and every one of them because they're no longer on this side of existence. Thank you for giving me my first chance, for soaking in my red roses that painted your skies blue, for telling me that I'm a bigger star than the streetlights where they sentenced us all to die. I tell them that they're all stars now too. Yesterday, I was 12. I slammed some boy's head against the train tracks for slapping my ass because I refused to be touched again. I sipped on sunshine and drank Nia to the back of my mind, disposed of like garbage, like she didn't matter, because little Black girls don't get social movements or marches where I come from, just found in dumpsters and 10 seconds of silence in an auditorium full of 12-year-olds who know exactly what kind of songs are played at funerals. Death so normalized that yesterday, at 16, when Jarvis died, I didn't bat an eye. It was just another day where the funny boy who made everyone laugh became another skid mark to clean off of a sidewalk, became winged photograph on t-shirts. Yesterday, I was 19 in James's bedroom where he ripped my stockings and pretended he didn't hear me say no. I was so small that my voice disappeared behind his moans, so hungry that they fed off of untouched parts of me. So yesterday, I was a Black girl refusing to give a Black man to the system because he hurt me. Instead, I chose to sacrifice my sanity. So yesterday, another Black girl chose everything but herself. Yesterday, victims were told that 10 years is too late to report abuse that occurred in their minds just yesterday. R. Kelly's music was separated from his actions. Yesterday, we separated crimes from criminals. Yesterday, the world told Black women to feel their pain in silence because yesterday was 20 years ago. Yesterday is too far away, but in my mind, yesterday is just yesterday. I still have scars healing from yesterday. I was 8 years old yesterday, 10, 12, and 16. I was 19 yesterday. I was 22 watching a grave be lowered down for the first time, realizing that I've watched so many people die, but I never got the closure of goodbye. I've seen a dead body, but never an embalmed one. Yesterday, I watched a grave plot be put up, wondering how do people rest in peace when the digging never stops? Yesterday, I was 22 falling on landmines that looked like soft landing. Yesterday, I was 23 blowing up on a broken bed while my killer walked out with the satisfaction of me having licked his wounds before he left my room. Yesterday, I was 23 with my legs shut in the passenger seat, wishing I remembered how to call an Uber, praying to God that he forgets my address after he drops me off. Yesterday, I was 24 being gaslit by the love of an imposter, being made to look like a bad person when all I did was try to love on them, but I was 3 personalities too deep into a high his that spoke honesty, that never warranted me the right answers. So yesterday was weeks, months, years, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, 19, 20 years ago, but I remember everything like it was just yesterday. Thank you.
Wow. Like, yeah, y'all already know. We was going off in the chat. Some of us couldn't even type. And yeah, all I could do, honestly, was repeat the words that I heard that were really resonating with me because I didn't have like my own words. Because you so beautifully, eloquently said these such hard things that some of us go through to grow up to being into who we are today. And yeah, thank you for saying trigger warning everything, because that really, yeah, I love the way that you used the timeline and brought us back to like each age, and it was almost like this, yeah, bittersweet reminder. It's like, well, these things happen to young people, like before they even get the opportunity to even think about who they want to be, they're kind of like put into these situations. And yes, that one definitely resonates very highly with me. So thank you, Faye, for sharing that and being able to say all of that. I don't even like your gift. I just, yeah. Because everything that Lovey just said, it's like heartbreaking, but in the most beautiful way. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Al.
I really appreciate you sharing that. Like teaching people how to get over hard stuff. Beautiful words. Appreciate you. Make the tears go back. I've been working on this, y'all. Yeah, it's not gone, but they're not going to come down. So thank you. Super appreciation for every single artist that came through here tonight and shared their heart with us. And yeah, honestly, poetry, music, art in general, being that vehicle to help us overcome these growing pains. I just want to give thanks for that, and thanks for this platform. And we can't really have this platform without everybody who is here listening and sharing and telling a friend to tell a friend that we do this on Mondays. We start at 7 and we go until, the folks don't want to say no more. But usually until 8:30, there is really a tough time. I'm not going to pretend that we go all night. That being said, we come out every Monday, and this is what we've been doing for the last 10 years. Just really want to shout out my team for making this happen. Randell, of course, Jason, of course, our founders, Aisha, Chakoy on the social media, Anastasia, and Marissa, our managers managing our events and programs. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Appreciate y'all, and Lovey. So glad that Lovey has rejoined our team. And Lovey was one of the, day ones, and she's really just came through and just is what she normally does. Loves on R.I.S.E and lets us feel the love through her awesome work. So I just really appreciate you for that, Lovey. And I just want to also see if anybody wants to go before we end off tonight. Looks like we'll probably end around 8. I think that's pretty great. And I'll give some space. I'll also ask our last question, which is to name a growing pain that you had to overcome to bloom into who you are today. And for me, I shared that it was overcoming my name and what it meant to me and who it meant that I had to be. So yes, that was a growing pain that I feel like, been able to overcome, and a lot through writing for sure. Addie says the growing pain that I needed to overcome was freeing myself from the pressure to conform and present myself in a way that was digestible and so-called normal. Being less mindful of who is preing what, and instead just living for myself. Yeah, because they're gonna pre. They're gonna pre. And I'm not saying it's at the point of life, for sure, but people will talk about you. If they can see you, there might be a chance that they might say something about you. It's going to come out from their own experience, the things that they've been through. And if today's show is not an indication, you really don't know what people had to go through to become who they are today, and the battles that they're fighting right at this moment. And while, I'm not, but yeah, so just being careful and mindful of passing judgment and assuming, because yeah, we all have stories that will probably break your heart. And if we put all our problems into one pile, I think I'd probably take mine back, to be honest, if I saw everyone else's issues. And yeah, pain is not to be compared, but shared, I think. Randell says abandonment. I overcame growing up without my parents at a very young age. And it was understanding that them not being there didn't mean that I wasn't enough. It just meant that I had to find my own sense of self-worth. That is, thank you so much for that vulnerability as well. And everyone who's sharing tonight, I really appreciate it. I think when we share our pain, then we can we can resonate a little bit in it, and we can understand that, just like Randell said, finding your own sense of self is usually at the root of pain. And I see Lazuli says, I had to overcome the pain that comes with shame. I released shame and life became my own canvas, free of worry from other people's judgment and opinions. That is beautiful. And I definitely can resonate with that as well. Art saved my life. This organization and being a part of it definitely continues to shape my perspective. And yeah, I do think that, overcoming pain that comes with shame, things that, again, people told you had to be, as Addie shared and as I shared, once we free ourselves from that mental slavery and emancipate ourselves, then, the sky is not the limit, actually. There is no limit. And Marissa says, impostor syndrome and walking in my purpose, I spent a lot of time contemplating if I have to say what people want to hear. But time and time again, I'm reminded that I'm walking in my purpose. And platforms like R.I.S.E have been a big part in feeling supported in her journey, in being able to speak your truth. I'll definitely say, I found, parts of myself here and continue by extension of the community. So everyone that we get to meet, because as a result of this platform, I think it just helps to grow our consciousness beyond what we know. these are such beautiful answers. Let's make sure we save this chat today. This is wonderful. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything else about the topic, or share any other art if you'd like. We still have a few more minutes. And awesome. So I will just quickly let y'all know about what we have coming up. So what we have coming up is next week's theme. So for all the folks that enjoyed what was going on tonight, if you want to be a part of this, or if you want to join us again, you certainly can. Next week's theme is going to be Dear Mama and Thank You Mama. So anybody that has like a female figure in their life, or someone that you would say like nurtured you, you know, the way that a mother figure would, we'd love to hear about them. And I just want to, you know, show love to any folks that, you know, these days, these holidays are always so tough because we want to celebrate them, but then I always love to like remember that some folks don't have, you know, parents or people in their lives that they could consider to be a parental figure for whatever reason. There's many reasons why, but I just always want to show mad love to folks on that day. So yeah, come through, whether or not you can relate, you can even show us the other side of the perspective, which is something that I think art allows us to do in a digestible way. But it's not normal, and that's what I love about art. So that being said, next week, Dear Mama, Thank You Mama, or Thank You to, you know, a maternal figure. Also, Frequency Fridays in person live this Friday at 918 Bathurst, and that's our Flower Power Showcase featuring Chantal Soleil, OC. We also have so many performers. I'm not even going to list them all because we're running out of time. I want you to head over to our website and check out all the performers. We are putting them up on our IG page as well. That's rise_EDT. And you can check out everyone, all the ladies that are performing. It's going to be a pretty dope show, and I will be hosting, so come check it out. Also, last but not least, we have Frequency Fridays on our YouTube channel. I want to say good night to everybody in YouTube land. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And yeah, be back here next week. We will be having Randell Ajay will be actually hosting our Dear Mama show. It's bound to be a spectacular evening. Tell a friend to tell a friend to come through and share their heart with us. And last thing before we go, with our last minute, I'd love to count us down from 10. And I'd love you all to set an intention for your week. We talked a lot about growing pains, and I know that, you know, sometimes myself included, I almost thought I did get transported back into a time, you know, when I wasn't that person that I feel like I am now. And that can be hard. So make sure you decompress, make sure you drink some water, make sure you breathe. But before we go, I'm going to do a decompression activity that we love to do here at R.I.S.E. And also it helps us to manifest, you know, what we want more of in our lives. So make sure that you edutain more of what you want and less of what you don't. Don't even think about what you don't want. Just think about more of what you want. Blessings abound. Let's count down from 10. When we get to 1, I'd love for you to, you know, let go of your hands and shout out your intention for this week in one word or one feeling. All right, so here we go. If you want to come on camera, you can, or audio. Counting down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Abundance.
Get them.
Abundance. I'm taking that too. That's all I can think of right now. Everything we need is right here. It's in us. And if you can't find it, you know, come to spaces like this, and I promise you'll find someone that can help you. And thank you so much. Thank you, Addie. Yes, the shared space, the vibes were immaculate, and I'm so glad you feel empowered to get through this week. We will see you all next Monday. That's for Dear Mama and Randell. We'll be hosting. You don't want to miss it. Peace and love. Blessings abound. See you next time.